Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Victory Drive. This week, I got on my good buddy, Chris Palos. We're going to be doing, this is another African episode. So I know it's hunting season back here in the States and all that good stuff, but this is a really, really good conversation that I had with Chris. He does some very, very cool, interesting things over in South Africa as far as conservation goes, outside of just being a normal PH. He does a lot of behind the scenes, going to like CITES conventions and all these different little, I think he went and has some really big talks overseas in Panama and other stuff. So I really wanted to sit down with him and kind of talk about what he does outside of being a PH, because he's really out there doing a lot of really good things for hunting, especially in South Africa, and also as far as like firearms rights and all that stuff goes in South Africa, which South Africa, it's not like America. No other country is really like America when it comes to firearms. So he does a lot of lobbying, I guess, and trying to keep their rights in South Africa. And it also has to do with a lot of the other world as well, and every other country, because there's a lot of countries in the world that have some sort of like importation ban or exportation ban on South Africa when it comes to hunting. And South Africa is really one of those countries that's under attack by a lot of different animal rights groups and stuff like that. And the laws are really fucked up over there. So, at least in my opinion, as an American. So he's out there on the front lines, fighting the good fight, trying to keep their rights to hunt and own guns and all that good stuff in South Africa. So we talked quite a bit about a lot of that stuff, and just kind of get some more of his background, get to know him a little better. I think is a really interesting conservation talk, and it's interesting because of, being in a different country and all that stuff. But also mind you that this is an African camp episode, so the audio is a little bit different. Then that is why we're literally talking in the mess hall or the chow hall or where we eat. So it's not exactly soundproof, so it might sound a little bit off, but I think it still sounds good. So hopefully you guys enjoy this episode with Chris, and I sure did. So I guess it's time for probably a little bit of a life update. It is hunting season in the Midwest. It's archery season here in Iowa, and we've been going at it for what day is it today? 8 days. So it's October 9th right now as I'm talking to you guys. It's the morning of this episode drop. So it's been archery season for a while, and I guess I just need to do a little bit of life update. I feel like that's the right thing to do. So last weekend, so this would have been Saturday and Sunday. Didn't go out hunting Saturday really because the weather was just complete garbage. So I'm like, I'm not even going to waste my time going out Saturday, and I had a bunch of stuff to do around the house and everything else. So the studio's still not quite done yet in the new house, but we're getting there. And then we're going to start doing some really cool stuff, I think, for the podcast. So, but aside from that, hunting season, didn't go out Saturday, getting stuff done around the house. And then Sunday, I decided to go out and sit for a little bit, and went out in the morning. Didn't see a whole lot. I know mornings in the early season is kind of silly to do sometimes, but I was hunting some public land, and I had really, really good access in and out. It was long, but it's good. Did a lot of access through this river, got down to this area, put the hip waders on, walked down the river a little ways, and the river at the deepest probably only came up to past my knees a little bit. So the hip waders were perfect for this access, and I slipped right in there, got up in my tree stand just off the edge of this river, and my wind was blowing back into the river. It was just absolutely perfect. So I sat in the morning, didn't see a whole lot, which I suspected. I did see a small buck, which was really nice to see. And then as the morning went on, didn't see shit the rest of the time. So I got back down, went out, hooked back up with Matt Moon, my buddy. I have my longtime buddy and hunting buddy. So I went back with him. We went and got some lunch, met up with my other buddy Brian, got some A&W, ate some lunch, and then we decided to go back out. So I went back out. I moved my stand a little bit deeper into the woods where I thought maybe more deer would come in and out. And it turns out I was right. I picked a really good spot for the afternoon. Saw some deer, had a fawn right underneath me, which worked out perfect. And I was thinking, I'm like, man, if another deer that's bigger than a fawn comes through, because I had a doe tag for this area, and if a nice good sized doe comes through, then I'll shoot her. And there's always an opportunity for a buck too to come waltzing through. You never know what's going to happen. So as I was sitting there, I think it was about 5 p.m. I had a really nice looking doe come in, real nice. She came and waltzed in. She followed the exact same path as the fawn, milled around a little bit. She gave me a perfect 20-yard shot. I pulled her back, let her rip, fucking 10-ringed her. It was about as good as a shot gets. Perfect double lung shot on a nice big white-tailed doe. And she bounded off. She took off running, got down this little hill. I was watching her, and then she started walking pretty slow, and she got up over this next hill a little bit, I lost sight of her probably maybe 50-ish yards or so into the timber. And I'm like, okay, perfect. She's going to be dead right on the other side of this hill. She's going to go over there, bed down, and die. It's going to be perfect. And there's going to be a fucking massive blood trail. I'm using a really big mechanical 2-inch blade, 2-inch cut mechanical broadhead. And like hit her right behind the shoulder, right in the crease. It blew right through her, full pass through. It's gonna be fucking absolutely epic. It's gonna have blood. There's gonna be blood everywhere, and I'm gonna find her right there. So I gave her about 45 minutes, and I, sent my texts and my calls and all that stuff. I was 100% confident. I was like, I'm all in. Like, this is here it is. I'm going in. Like, she's dead right over there. It's gonna be perfect. And after that time goes by, I get down, I grab my arrow. The fucking arrow's covered in blood. It's got bubbles all over it. It appears as if the blade's deployed, but it did blow through her and hit the ground. And I started walking a little bit, and just to see what first blood looked like, and it wasn't very good. And then I started seeing some blood. I'm like, okay, cool. It's got some blood here, got some blood there. So I was going super slow. So by this time, it's probably been about an hour after looking, just looking for the arrow, taking my time, getting on the blood trail, because I know she's just right over there. So I was expecting to kind of see her fall down, but she didn't. So I assumed she was just right over there, dead. So now we're about an hour after the shot, and I'm looking at blood, and it's not looking that great. I take a couple more steps, and it's looking a little bit better. It's a fairly steady blood trail. I'm like, she's going to open up here real soon, and she's going to be dead right there. And then I found some pretty good sized splotches of blood. And so I'm like, okay, that's a good sign. She's going to open up right over here. Keep going. Spotty, not very great, but I'm just still very confident, because I know my shot was it couldn't have really gotten much better with a mechanical broadhead. It couldn't have gotten much better shot placement. Is honestly perfect. It was a 20-yard shot. It's a chip shot. So I'm going through, looking, and the blood just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? I'm starting to lose a little bit of confidence, but I'm like, I know I made a good shot, so she's got to be right over here. And I end up following this blood trail. Like, she just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and it gets really, really sparse. And next thing you know, I'm just getting little droplets of blood here, droplets of blood there. And I'm just following it, and I lose it. And I just lose blood. It just runs out of blood. Like, there's just no more blood to follow. So I'm looking around like, what the fuck? So I get up on a down tree to get a little bit of height, to get over some of the weeds. I'm looking around, not seeing any bodies anywhere. No, not seeing the deer anywhere. So then I get back down. I get back to last blood. And I just kind of I'm like, now I'm on my hands and knees. I shouldn't be on my fucking hands and knees looking for blood with a shot like that. And I just keep going down. I just don't see any blood. So then I start getting kind of freaked out. So then I kind of start zigzagging back and forth, start grid searching a bit. Now at this time, it's almost 2 hours in, and it's getting to be dark. It's getting really, really close. I think I'm now looking at like maybe 15, 20 minutes of light left. So since I ran out of blood, I just started grid searching and zigzagging back and forth, not seeing anything. And then I finally stumbled upon another just little droplet of blood on this leaf. Somehow I stumbled upon it, and it looked like she's heading towards this river, towards the river. I'm going back and forth, and on the riverbanks, it's thick as fuck with willows, like super thick. And so I just get in there and I start looking all around, smashing through these willows, and it's like if she's dead, she's dead. If she's not, then I definitely blew her out if she's not dead. But there's no way she wasn't dead. I didn't think with a, big 2-inch cut mechanical broadhead and literally right behind the crease, blew right through her. Should have exited out of her offside armpit. Looking around, not seeing shit. No body, no deer, no blood, no nothing. And I end up grid searching for the rest of the time and into the night with headlamps, and Matt's looking on the opposite side bank in case she crossed the river. Nothing. We don't find blood again. We don't find a body. We don't find anything. So that's kind of the story of that. So pretty heartbreaking situation. It sucks because I look at it and I think back on it now, and I wouldn't have done anything differently. I made a great shot on a nice doe. It's just, got failed by my equipment. I picked the wrong equipment and it failed. So, I guess what I'm trying to get at with the moral of this story is I'm switching over. I got home. I just threw those broadheads away because this is the second time those broadheads have left very poor blood and took a long time to kill an animal with a really great shot. So, 2 years ago with my buck that I killed 2 years ago, I shot him quartering away, buried in an offside shoulder. Didn't have good blood I had like just 1 or 2 droplets of blood for almost 300 yards. And then it opened up and there's blood everywhere. And then he was dead. But it took me 300 yards of guessing and walking back and forth and kind of grid searching, trying to find blood all the way up until I found him. And I just felt like that was bad. I'm like, that's not appropriate. There should have been better blood than that, but I'm not going to worry too much about it because I found him. And, talking to some of my buddies and everything else, they said, yeah, quartering away shot, offside shoulder, it's not going to bleed very well because you don't have 2 holes and all that other good stuff, right? But it's a big fucking mechanical broadhead that supposedly has this nice big slap cut, and it did have a nice big slap cut on the fucking buck, but he just wasn't bleeding. I don't know what the hell was going on with that. It was just weird. And then, and the blades were sharp too, by the way. I checked them before hunting season started. I even took them off and I just stropped them up a little bit, just honed the edge just a little bit more and they're shaving hair. They're fucking sharp. They're very, very sharp. So it wasn't that. And, with the buck, blood trail wasn't very good, but I did end up finding him with this doe. I didn't end up finding her. So, it kind of blows ass. I absolutely fucking hate losing animals. This is the second animal in a row now for me, which is really unfortunate. I gotta start questioning a lot of things out there, after losing the bear in Wyoming and then this doe. It's just like, I don't fucking understand really what's going on. This time for sure, I know for 100% fact that I made a great shot because I'm replaying in my head millions of times over. It's just that I truly believe that broadhead failed me. So, didn't find my doe, but at the same time, it might sound heartless maybe to some people, I guess, but I am kind of glad. And that's why I like shooting does early season and getting them, getting everything honed back in, I guess, because you can shoot your target over and over and over and over and over again, get your shot process down, but you never really know how your equipment's is going to actually perform out there in the field. So I am kind of glad I was, shot this doe early season and figured that out because right when I got home, I took those broadheads off and threw them in the garbage and ordered some different ones. So I ordered some new broadheads. I'm going to a hybrid broadhead, so I just don't have full confidence in mechanicals right now. And it's going to take a little time for me to get that back. But with this hybrid broadhead that I ended up ordering, it's, got big, a big actually I think it's 2 3/8 inch cut on the mechanical blade, and then a 3/4 inch cut on the fixed blade in the front. And supposedly they fly really well, so I'm going to get those in, shoot them, and if I have to tune my bow up a little bit and shift some things around, then I'm going to do that. But yeah, I'm going to that because even if the blades don't deploy, I'm still getting over an inch of cut with a 3/4 inch cut on the fixed blade, the head part, and then the front of it. And then also, if those blades don't deploy, the last like probably eighth of an inch on each side or so, maybe 1/4 inch on each side is exposed. So even if it does fail, I'm still going to get basically the same cut out of that fixed blade part that I would out of a regular fixed blade broadhead. So instead of going to fixed blade broadheads, I did want to try a mechanical type again one more time. Just I went for a forward deploying blade rather than a rear deploying blade, and a hybrid head. So switched it up a little bit. Did that, and we'll see how it goes. I haven't gotten them in yet. They should be coming in tomorrow because I just ordered them yesterday. And I did the expedited 2-day shipping, which is fucking expensive, but that's what you got to do when it's hunting season and you have some shit like this go down. So see how it goes. I'll keep you guys updated. It's a little life update for me. Pretty sorrow about it, but what do you do? I can't. I can shoot my bow and train all I want, but if you have equipment that fails you, then that really sucks. So yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that. It is what it is. Moving on. Hopefully it doesn't happen to any of you out there listening, but it's one of those things that everyone says, you hunt long enough, you're going to lose an animal or two, and it just so happens that my first 2 animals I've ever really lost in my life happened back to back. So that fucking sucks. What do you do? I don't know. It doesn't feel good. Doesn't make you feel good. Doesn't make you have any confidence. So I'm just moving on, trying to rebuild my confidence. I'm going to shoot the fuck out of my bow some more, and hopefully next time everything works out. So hopefully there's a much better story on the next one that I talk about. With you guys, I do plan on doing like weekly life updates with you guys throughout hunting season. So hopefully, yeah, like I said, hopefully it all works out next time. And hopefully you guys are out there having good luck with, your hunting season and all that good stuff. I hope all of your blades deploy, and if you're using fixed heads, then that's great. You don't have to worry about deploying blades then. So hopefully everything's going good for you guys. Good luck out there. If you are out there and you haven't gotten anything yet or had any success, keep it up, keep going, keep driving. You got this. So with all that said, the show is brought to you by some sponsors, and Victory Drive Podcast is proudly brought to you by Grizzly Coolers. Grizzly Coolers, they are the leader in hard-sided coolers, you guys. If you guys want a hard-sided cooler or even soft-sided coolers or some drinkware or fucking hunting blind, check out Grizzly Coolers. They make grade A products for grade A people like you and me. They are a little bit expensive, I guess, if you're used to buying fucking Walmart coolers and shit, but they are like, I don't know, at least 10 times nicer, I'd say. I don't know about as far as it goes to with like ice retention as opposed to a fucking Coleman, but it's gonna be a lot better. I think the Coleman is like 3 days. These are fucking way better than that. Like, I don't know, I think the last time I left ice in my Grizzly cooler, it held for at least 10 days and it was still very, very cold in there. So Grizzly Coolers, great coolers, great, in my opinion, good prices for what they are. They're fucking grade A, high quality coolers. They don't make shit in Grizzly. So, and they're right down the road in Decorah, Iowa. So they're fairly local to me. So really good people behind that brand too. Isaac and Jeremy are the absolute best. They're huge supporters, very, like, with being a title sponsor of Victory Drive, and also partnering with WCB and Hunting the Mason-Dixon and Tackle and Tacos. They're just really just a solid brand that really believes in what we're doing here as a network too. So I don't know. Me personally, I love Grizzly Coolers. If you guys are in the market for any new coolers and you have a little bit extra coin to spend, then you can't go wrong with getting a Grizzly cooler. And you can save some money using code WCB especially if you're a poor person. Using the code is our little kickback for our listeners as well. And it does help support us. It lets Grizzly know that we are reaching out to you guys and doing our job as well. So if you're in the market for a new cooler or hunt blind or whatever else, use code WCB to save some coin at checkout there. Podcast is also brought to you by Black Ovis. Black Ovis is kind of just your one-stop shop for all of your outdoor hunting needs. You got camping gear, footwear, you got archery equipment, you got some shooting supplies, you got all sorts of shit at blackovis.com. As a matter of fact, I went to blackovis.com to buy my new broadheads. They have a huge selection of broadheads with really good shipping. Really good expedited shipping if you're in the need for anything like that. So if you guys have a catastrophic failure out there during the season, go to Black Ovis, check out what they got, and use code VICTORY at checkout, which I just used my own code with Black Ovis to buy those broadheads too. So use code VICTORY, save some money at Black Ovis. The only thing I don't think it works on is optics. So I'm pretty positive. I tried it a couple times just to see, and it does not. I verified it. It does not work on optics to my knowledge. So use code VICTORY for everything else at Black Ovis. As a matter of fact, if you have some optics in there and everything else in your cart, then fucking put the code in. If it says no, then it says no. Just put it in there. VICTORY, VICTORY at blackovis.com. Also, the podcast is brought to you by Huntworth Gear. Huntworth Gear, they are, in my opinion, some of the best hunting clothing that you can buy for the money. I know some people get wrapped up in the other camo brands, whether it's Sitka or Kuiu or, Real Tree. It doesn't matter. My biggest thing with camo is hunt with what gives you confidence. So if you're wearing old school mossy oak and you have 100% full confidence in that camo, then keep rocking it, guys. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm not trying to sit here and get you to turn on what you've been using your entire life. But if you are out there and you find that you need a new piece of gear, then check out Huntworth. I think that they're at least worth the look because they are really high quality stuff, and especially for the price. Like, you're talking your everyday normal average American prices here. It's really good stuff especially for the price. Like, good prices, good quality gear. Check out Huntworth if you're in the need for any other camo gear. And obviously, hunting season already started, so you shouldn't need any more stuff. But we got late season coming up, and fucking Huntworth's late season stuff is absolutely the shit. I will put this hands down, the best shit I've ever worn in the late season. Super warm, super cost effective, and the patterns are amazing. I love Tarnin. Tarnin's my personal favorite. So when you check them out, huntworth.com, huntworthgear.com. I can't remember exactly what the website is. I'm an idiot. Google Huntworth, dude. You'll find it, all right? And then use code WCB15 at checkout there. That's WCB15 at checkout for Huntworth. And also Mountain Ops. Mountain Ops is a hunting supplement company, if you will. They are supported by hunters like you and me, and by hunters for hunters kind of thing. So I personally, especially this season, this time of year, I'm all about Ignite. I'm drinking Ignite like it's fucking water, and keep me going in the stand, keep me going out to the stand, all that good stuff. Ignite is 100% the best. I think it's 200 milligrams of caffeine per scoop. So scoop one in, slam her down, 200 milligrams of caffeine, keep you perked up. If you're feeling real randy, put a couple scoops in there. It don't matter. It ain't going to kill you. And if it does kill you, then I'm sorry. But it ain't, I don't think. So I'm not a doctor. Don't take medical advice from Jacob Johnson. But you can use Mountain Ops has really good supplements and really good products there. And you can also use code VICTORY, VICTORY, at checkout. Mountain Ops to save some coin as well. I'm also going to be drinking some of their pre-workout real soon here to go to the gym. So hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. I got kind of long-winded in the intro here, but I just wanted to cover some life updates and all that kind of good stuff too. I think that's, it's 'tis the season, my friend. So get out there, get hunting, get after it. All right. Christopher Palos.
That's me. Hello.
We're back again. So, kind of funny story. We tried podcasting probably about 2 years ago now.
Yeah, I'd say.
Yeah, and I tried calling you on the phone, and I didn't realize international calling was like a thing, I guess. Mm-hmm. And the audio was just complete trash. Like, it was unusable. So I had to discard that episode. But I also got hit with like a $200 Verizon bill on top of it all. So we decided to scrub it, and we were going to reschedule something and do it over like Wi-Fi calling, but then that never happened. And next thing you know, I'm in camp again. So,
well, yeah, I thought when I heard you were coming back to Africa, I was like, oh, let's just wait until you're back. We do it in person. That's better.
Yeah. Honestly, doing in-person podcasts are always better than over the phone anyway.
Absolutely,
Over the phone interviews or, I don't know, conversations, podcasts, whatever you want to call them, they're good. Like, it's something. Something's better than nothing. But in person's always so much better. You can sit here and look at each other in the eyes and see if you're lying or not, I guess. So
if you can read my poker face or not, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you have an interesting, like we talked, I guess in podcasting this would be last week, but in real life this would be yesterday.
Yesterday, yes.
Yesterday. We talked a little bit, we're kind of doing some PH stories with Stuart and Ethan and you. And you've had a really interesting, like, kind of, I guess, what do you call it? Would you call it a side gig, or?
I suppose you could call it a side gig. I suppose I've had this very keen interest. So I suppose a side gig. Yeah, I'd go with side gig.
Side gig, at least for now.
It is for now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you study on the side, like outside of your PH stuff. You do a lot of studying and conservation work.
Right. So my life is like this triangle. You've got hunting on the one corner, PHing. You've got college studies on the one corner, which is currently law through an online university. And the reason for the online university is that I can much more easily manage my hunting time by not having to go to actual classes and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side, you've got the work I do essentially in the advocacy and lobbying side for the pro-sustainable use industry, mainly hunting. Mm-hmm. And yes, so that's an interest that kind of sparked back in 2016. I was still in high school. I was in 10th grade, not that long ago. And
all the way back in 2016 when you were in 10th grade.
So we spoke about this yesterday, the CITES Convention, mm-hmm. which is the Convention for International Trade in Endangered Species. So in 2016, that conference, which is a UN, it's a UN body. So it's essentially governments that meet to regulate international wildlife trade for endangered species. And every 3 years they meet and have a conference of the parties, as it's called. And back in 2016, this conference was held in South Africa. And at the time, so it's a very big, serious meeting with like 3,000 delegates. And like I mentioned, there's over 40,000 species listed under CITES. So it's like a 2-week story where they're literally debating trade regulations and all that on the various species. I can go into details of how it works later if you want. But essentially, I had the opportunity to go there because the Hunting and Wildlife Associations had a stand there, a stall. Because so in the one side, you've got the closed sort of convention chambers where the discussions are happening and the debates and all that kind of stuff and the agenda items are being discussed.
So the closed one, who's all in that one? Just like the actual governing bodies?
The governments that are, I suppose, dignitaries to CITES, and then any registered observer party, which can be NGOs basically. Okay. So a lot of them are completely anti-use of any form of wildlife, and you've got a small amount of them who are pro-sustainable use of wildlife. So the Hunting and Wildlife Associations of South Africa took the opportunity to be present at that as well. So they had like a stall there because there were like various stalls and stands that you could have. So then in between, breaks and sessions and stuff, the delegates could walk there and chat and you could discuss your views and all that kind of stuff. So I had the opportunity to go there, and that's when my eyes sort of open up to this global threat to anything sustainable use, anything that involves the utilization of wildlife and wild natural resources. And I was like, oh, wow, I mean, I'm a hunter, but I mean, there's so much on the go here, from timber trade to little frogs for pets to, I mean, you name it, it's happening. There's trade, parrots, breeding parrots and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, well, geez, I can just see how big and powerful the anti-use side is. Someone, we need to take an interest in defending what we do as hunters and all that. And that's when this whole thing sort of started. I met a gentleman there who used to be a CITES Secretary General when it first started, basically back in the late 70s, 80s. And he actually ended up getting fired because the animal rights lobby slowly started to sort of infiltrate the organization. This is the story as it's been told to me, but essentially he basically got fired for being too pro-trade, particularly elephant ivory trade and stuff like that. They found a way to get him fired. And after being fired, he decided to start his own NGO, which is called the IWMC, World Conservation Trust. And IWMC stands for Integrating Wildlife Markets and Conservation. So he's a French-Canadian chap. He lives in Switzerland, which is also where CITES head offices are. And essentially the organization, they defend lives, livelihoods, and food security, anything involving that comes from utilizing wildlife. So that's what they try to defend. So I'm kind of like one of their advisors. They have a lot of advisors and volunteers all over the world. So I'm sort of classified as one of them, and also one of their youth reps. And they work very closely with some of our South African NGOs and organizations who I obviously know very well because of this. And that's kind of how I slowly got into this. And yeah, it's been very interesting. I went on my first overseas trip in 2022 to the CITES convention that was hosted in Panama. That was the first time I left the African continent.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was like this big eye-opening experience.
It's like, oh my God, there's a whole new world out there.
Yep.
A whole new world.
Exactly.
Something like that. Playing in the background.
Something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then I've left the country every year since to go to similar meetings.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's like sort of the brief summary of how I got into that kind of stuff. My dad works in the hunting industry as well. He works for a local hunting organization called CHASA, which stands for the Confederation of Hunting Associations of South Africa. So essentially, you have various hunting clubs and associations across the country, and they, as a club, are then a member of CHASA, and CHASA is like this umbrella body that sort of represents their interests sort of collectively. So his job is basically to defend the freedom to hunt and own guns in South Africa. But a few years back, they decided, well, if you look at how these pressures work against what we do as gun owners and hunters, that you've got a lot of low-hanging fruits, and you've got the fruits right at the top there that are fairly safe. I often call it the dominoes. So you've got the dominoes on the front lines, and you've got the dominoes that are further back in the line. So local meat hunting in South Africa would be one of the dominoes right at the back of the queue, or one of the fruits right at the top of the tree. But if you look at trophy hunting, that's the domino right in front, and all the fruit hanging right at the bottom. If you had to compare it to gun ownership in, say, America, for example, so-called assault weapons are the low-hanging fruit. Yep. But just your regular hunting rifles are perhaps the fruit a little bit higher up.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I see that all the time. That's actually a really good analogy that you brought up, because I try to say things, try to say that too, but I just get kind of caught up with it's a slippery slope, and then just leave it at that. But that's a really good mental diagram that you kind of painted for everyone there. What
my dad or what the organization that he works for decided was that, well, so we're a pretty safe fruit. We're a domino at the back of the queue, but the best way to remain in a safe position is to help defend the dominoes on the front. So they started taking an interest in helping to defend trophy hunting and other forms of sustainable use of, whatever really. And a few years back, they formed what's now called the Sustainable Use Coalition of Southern Africa. And that's a coalition of various NGOs. And I think there were 10 founding organizations. I can remember most of them, but I'm not going to try to list all of them now. But essentially, it's anything from from that organization, CHARSA, which represents the local hunters. There's another organization very similar to CHARSA called NatShoot. Fortunately, they work hand in hand, basically. Then there's the Professional Hunters Association, who I'm a member of, being a professional hunter. Then you have the Wildlife Ranchers Association, who defends pretty much the interests of landowners, game ranch owners.
Mm-hmm.
You have a Predator Breeders Association, a Falconry Association. Falconry is a fairly popular thing here and around the world.
Damn.
Especially in the Middle East.
Everywhere but America.
Yep. Fair enough. And
kind of like rugby and shit.
Fair enough, yeah. We even have, but SUCO, so it's the Sustainable Use Coalition, short SUCO, they even have the Parrot Breeders Association of South Africa as a member of them. So they form this coalition to sort of have a bit more of a united front when they go to these big international convention stuff to try and defend all forms of sustainable use.
Mm-hmm.
Because they kind of realize that, trying to sort of go out there on your own, you're not really going to get far.
No.
But if the hunters are helping the parrot breeders, and the parrot breeders are helping the lion breeders, and the lion breeders are helping the ordinary game farmer, and the professional hunters are all fighting the same cause, you stand a much better chance.
Yeah, because there is a strength in numbers for sure. That's what, in America, on our side of things, it's like we're seeing that with like gun ownership, where there's a lot of, there's a lot of different gun rights organizations out there in America that focus on different things, So you join you might join the NRA for this thing. You might join the Sportsman's Alliance if you're more of like a hunter / gun owner kind of thing. You might join the Firearms Policy Coalition if you're more, honestly, right now, more into, assault weapons, because the Firearms Policy Coalition, they do a lot of like lawsuits. Like they're basically like a law firm for gun right for the Second Amendment or gun rights or gun people, right? Where if your rights are getting trampled by a certain state, if a certain state passes a stupid law, then the Firearms Policy Coalition, they feel like it's their duty to like go ahead and like sue that state and take them up through the proper chain and do all that stuff, and eventually maybe make the Supreme Court and get it shot down, and the state gets its PB slapped and move along, kind of thing. So there's a lot of that going on. Yes. But you join a different organization for a different reason, but there's not really an umbrella organization holding all these together.
Yeah, like
they're all on their
front.
own.
So that's the biggest.
They're all kind of fighting for membership from the same pool. But there's not like an umbrella organization that kind of takes care of all of it. And they don't really help each other that much either. That's
where we're at our weakest. These animal rights NGOs that want to stop all forms of sustainable use, they'd have us not own pets if they could, some of them. They're very powerful. My dad calls them the big international NGOs, the bingos.
Oh, yeah.
They have a lot of money as well. And they make the money.
A lot of money.
They make the money by simple donations. The good-meaning person that lives in a high-rise building there in New York donates $100 a month because they feel like they're supporting a good cause. Their marketing's very good. Donate now to save the rhino kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Those kind of organizations. Or donate now to save these 7 cats that are stranded on in a city in Lebanon. Something like that.
Yeah, or the USPSC or whatever.
That's how these organizations make the money.
Mm-hmm.
And they make a lot of money doing that.
Yeah, and they're usually very small donations too. They're not even like $100. Like, donate 23 cents a day to save this fucking crying cat.
Exactly, and then you'll get some well-meaning old lady who lives in London who has in her will when she passes away, £10,000 must go to Peter, whoever, that organization. And there's a lot of that happens, and that's how they get their money. Most of it goes to paying salaries for good lawyers and people like that and CEOs, and a small percentage of it goes into little conservation projects that makes it look like they're actually doing something.
Every sip of Coca-Cola brings you closer to the excitement of the FIFA World Cup 26. Because nothing compares to the joy. So grab a Coke and drink in the FIFA World Cup 26. No purchase necessary. 13 plus in 50 U.S. states and D.C. with a web-enabled device. Ends March 1st with 8 entry periods. Rules at cokeurl.com/soccerrules.
But the big thing is just to advocate against everything we do as people who want to utilize the wildlife or any wild thing. And, make us also look like the most evil scum on the earth. They're very good at that too.
They're very good at that. And it sucks because, like, same thing in America. There's a side of the antis, if you will. They're fighting an emotional battle all the time.
Yes.
And emotion, it's a lot easier to, I guess, clamor at people's emotions and pull at their heartstrings in order to get what you want. I guess get whatever desired outcome you are pursuing. And it's a lot harder to kind of defend that with being like, well, the science says that this is fucking stupid, basically. Exactly. And it's like, you have to point to graphs and charts and numbers, and people are like, but the rhinos deserve to live too. It's like, yeah, you're right. But we can also hunt them, and it will actually help the population, all this other stuff. And it's hard for them to wrap their minds around because it's not an emotional attachment to a thing. You know what I mean? So it's like it's a hard battle, honestly, to fight. It's very, very tough.
Yeah, when you're fighting with emotion, science kind of walks out the door, and logic as well.
Yeah.
And people are very clever, and somehow they find a way to make up science that's not really totally true.
Oh, yeah.
Which also doesn't help either.
Yeah, and a lot of times people will just be like, hey, can you just like appease them just a little bit? Just right now, we'll take a knee on this one, let them have their win so they can stop fucking crying so loud, and we can go about our day. But then it's like, okay, then they come back and do it again, and again, and again, and then it's a death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing.
And unfortunately for most people in the public, they don't necessarily understand the realities on the ground. So they don't understand the unintended consequences of a certain trade ban of a certain species or a hunting ban or something like that. There's a lovely saying that I heard once, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah, 100%.
So you sit there in the city and you live your life. Perhaps you're not totally happy about where you live and how you do things. So, feel good. You help these organizations that supposedly do good. It makes you feel good. You're like donating to a good cause.
Yeah.
And you have good intentions. But you don't really understand what that organization is trying to destroy. I mean, look where we're sitting right now on this ranch in an area in this country that is it's very dry. It's a very sort of flat landscape, bush is very thick. For the average tourist, it's actually not a very attractive place to be.
Yeah, not really.
I mean, it's very dense bush. It's very sort of grey, dull looking color. There's a lot of wildlife that can live here. And this environment needs to somehow pay for itself. Something needs to keep this place economically viable. Something needs to stop it from becoming total farmland or cities or mines and stuff like that.
And or even just left alone.
Or just
because honestly, like we've seen that before too, where it's like if stuff's left totally just alone and untouched, like stuff kind of tends to not. Everyone's talking about like nature and nature runs course and all this other stuff. It's like nature a lot of times kind of like sometimes it needs a little helping hand, I guess is what I'm saying.
Especially after humans have become the dominant species on Earth. Yeah. We've changed a lot of things forever.
So many things.
And that's what a lot of people don't realize is that the moment we put up towns and cities and freeways and fences and border posts, sovereign countries, we've changed the natural landscape of the world forever.
And where are most of these towns and cities going to? Places that are like a little bit nicer, where like maybe animal life would be more sustainable in, rather than in places like that are desolate.
Not even. I mean, if you look in Africa, so a place like this, the town's fairly far away.
Yeah,
we're like really far from an actual town. I mean, there's
We're
a small
fucking nowhere right now.
There's a small little, they call it a town, but it's really just a paved road that has a gas station.
Yeah, it's not much of a town.
No.
We stopped there once.
No. And if you had to just leave all this land alone, it would just, become, it would probably just be a poaching takeover, really, if no one was here to look after it. So you've got to look at alternative incomes, alternative revenue streams and businesses. And for a place like this, hunting remains the best. Because you're not going to get photographic tourists here.
No.
You're not going to drive around and it's not like the, the beautiful Africa that you see in the movies. This is thick bush. You don't see much unless you're hunting for it. And the average photographic tourist isn't going to do what you guys did this week to try and go chase after wildebeest.
Yeah.
To just get a photo of them. It doesn't work that way.
No, not really. They want, because when you're snapping a photo, you just want to stay in your truck and you want the animals to kind of be out in the open so you can zoom in and take a nice little photo and stuff.
Exactly, which is fine. There's a place to do that. There's
for sure.
Plenty of places to do that.
It's not here.
But there's lots of other land, such as this, that doesn't have that option. So the only alternative to hunting is that we just flatten all the bush and, farm it. We just plow the land and just do conventional agriculture and exterminate all the wildlife. That's the alternative.
That is the alternative.
So that's one of the unintended consequences people don't often see, unfortunately, when they make these so-called, good intentions or good decisions in their mind.
So in America, it's very expensive to have land to hunt on, basically. So public hunting is really big in America. And that's all because of Theodore Roosevelt, if I'm not mistaken. And he was doing a bit of hunting, and especially with the American buffalo or bison. And he went and he hunted one and shot one. He's like, oh my gosh! And there's just not very many left at the time. And he's like, this animal is so beautiful and so amazing, and there's just not much of them left because of market hunting. So market hunting was exploding and going crazy, and people taking bits and pieces of the animal and then leaving the rest because they're just going to take whatever's profitable, right? So he did something that was very unpopular at the time. He banned market hunting in America, and he started the Boone Crockett Club, which is very famous about deer measurements and animal antler measurements, and that's really just to gauge their maturity and I guess how they're living. 'Cause with animals, especially animals that grow horns or antlers, if they have a surplus of energy, then they put it into making their horns bigger or their antlers bigger. If they don't have a surplus, then they get smaller. So they can kind of gauge by antler size or horn size if the animal is feeding well,
healthy,
and healthy.
Is the ecosystem healthy?
Exactly, is the ecosystem healthy? So that's why the Boone Crockett Club was really designed.
Okay,
where it wasn't just a chest beating for hunters to be like, I shot the biggest animal.
Yeah,
it's really is a lot more to that, a lot more conservation minded when it was created. But with public hunting, that started becoming a thing where he started protecting a lot of land for. The federal government basically just took it over. There's no one on it. So the government's like, okay, we'll just take this and protect it and leave it for the animals. So, the elk population started coming back up. The whitetail population started booming again. The bear population started booming again. They did a lot of conservation work by protecting certain lands and putting it under federal control or state control and just being like, no one can use this because it's for the animals. It's very expensive to keep that going. And it's also very expensive when people want to develop it and put in ski resorts or housing units or whatever else they want to put it in, because a lot of these places are beautiful, like up in the mountains and everything else, where they could have a really nice ski resort, but it's federally protected lands, so they can't. And they try to buy it from the government, but the government says, no, we can't do that. But it is expensive as hell to upkeep a forest.
It still needs management.
It needs management. It needs management of some sort. And the best managers of the land are hunters. So they started this thing called Pittman-Robertson Act. They passed that law where every, I think it's 11% excise tax on everything they use for hunting, whether that's,
bullets,
backpack, bullets, guns.
A lot of that.
Yeah, 90+ % of the Pittman-Robertson Act money, the PNR money, is from guns and ammo in America. So that's the other unintended consequences of if you outlaw the most popular weapon or gun in America, which is the AR-15, if you ban that, that's taking away a huge chunk of conservation money that the antis don't see. The anti-gun lobbyists don't see that, where it's like you're hurting animals by banning this gun because of some few bad eggs. But
we're taking the gun away from legal gun owners.
Yeah.
And the illegal ones still have them.
Exactly. But what I'm getting at with that long story is that land needs management.
Yes.
And it needs to have land managers. And if you can make money off of the ones that want to hunt it and do these things, and their hunter dollars, whether it's buying guns and ammo or buying licenses and tags and all that other stuff, goes back into the conservation of those animals, which is way more money than any of these fucking anti-hunting organizations ever give back to the animals.
Yes.
Like you said, I don't even know what it is that they want to accomplish besides the fact that
Well, if they
see people that are having a good time, they're like, fuck that.
Yeah, if they actually succeed in their goal, then they won't serve a purpose anymore.
Exactly.
If you think about it.
And I say that all the time too.
So you'll be done. You're out of business.
Yeah, I say that all the time with the gun stuff, like the anti-gun lobby in America and other places in the world. It's like they're not going to stop at an AR-15 because bad people will still exist. They're still going to commit crimes. They're still going to commit shootings. So then they're going to go after the next gun, whoever the next one in line is. Like you said, the domino effect.
Yes.
And they're just going to keep going after it until there's nothing left. And when there's nothing left, do you think they're going to be done? Like, no. There's people that have literally made millions and millions of dollars off of attacking this one thing. And once it's gone forever, do you think they're just going to take those skills and clap their hands together and be like, all right, guys, mission accomplished. Go home. We're done here. No, they're going to move on to the next thing. And in America, after guns, what comes next is hunting, in my opinion. So
Absolutely. We're all part of the same salami that's being sliced away slowly.
Yes, right. Yeah. There's only so much salami you can cut before it's none left.
That's the fact.
And then you have no more sandwiches.
And, again, well-meaning people, they celebrate what they do. Like, you go to these big CITES conventions, and it's this big celebration. Oh, we're back again. We had this great big meeting. Thank you to country so-and-so for hosting us. And it's a big thing for 2 weeks, and there's banners and parties and side events. And you walk in there, you say, and CITES has a mission and a vision statement, obviously. And I don't know it off by heart, but essentially it's to ensure that all wildlife trade is sustainable and legal, which is a very good sort of, mission, vision. And I agree with it. And so then I once said at a meeting, I said, so what the mission or the vision rather should actually be is to one day be able to disband CITES. Because if you achieve your goal, you're not needed anymore.
Right, yeah.
Technically.
If the species are no longer endangered because you did your job properly.
I said that, it was at one of the meetings and we were having like a little lunch break or something, and I said that to the table and everyone's like, what? No, I mean, what do you mean? It's like, you don't get it, do you? You're missing the point.
Yeah.
You're here for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, they're here to protect endangered species, but when the species are no longer endangered, then it's like, what are they doing?
Exactly. You need them endangered so you can still have a job.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So it's a strange world. I don't know. And I think this is going to be like this continuous sort of pendulum swinging left and right, because, the little battles here and there, some are won, some are lost. Sometimes you gain ground, sometimes you lose ground. And I'm sure in the States also, I mean, every administration has its own challenges and then its own advantages, depending on how it swings. I mean, South Africa sees it with... Well, we had a gun law change a few years back. I explained the gun laws to you the other day.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Fucking blew my mind. I'm like, jeez.
And that...
For some reason, I thought they weren't that bad in South Africa.
That gun law has been in place since 2004, I think. So for me, it's been the only gun law I've known. So to me, I'm like, it's not so bad. It's all I know.
That's what they want, though.
Yeah.
That's what they want, is they want that generational shift of like, well, the next generation, we pass this unpopular law, the next generation will just, as long as we can hold off until the next generation comes around, they just won't know any better, and they won't fight to change it because it's all they've ever known. They've already learned how to live with it, so it's fine.
So just briefly for your listeners, so how our gun law works is that first, as an individual, you need to go through firearm competency training to then show that you understand A, the firearm law, and B, how to use the certain class of firearm that you wish to own. So in South Africa, we class firearms into 4 categories. It's rifle, handgun, shotgun, and semi-automatic. Okay. So you can either get a competency license for 1, 2, 3, or all 4 classes of firearm. So when I did it, I just did all 4 because I was like, I don't really want a semi-auto, but maybe one day I do. And then I have the training done. I don't want to go back and have to go do training just to, own another gun. So you do that training, and then you can apply for a competency license. So you have to go to the police, fill out police application forms, then apply for your competency license, and that takes about 3 months before they process it. And then they can give it to you, and they can deny it as well if they have reason to believe you shouldn't be allowed to own guns. And you can appeal it and whatever, but they have the right to refuse it. So then you get this competency card. There's a little card that you have. And then you go to the gun shops and you say, I would like to buy that 3006 over there, please. They're like, great stuff, no problem. We have to fill out some paperwork first. So you fill out the register in the gun shop. And then, like, can we see your competency card? Yes, here it is. Perfect. They take the copies. You pay for the gun. The gun shop gives you firearm license application forms. And you walk out the shop with nothing but the papers.
Oh, no shit.
You've paid for the gun.
Oh, geez. Okay.
You've paid for the gun. You've paid for the rifle. You take those papers, you go to the home, you fill them out. It's a big stack of papers. You go to the police and you hand these papers in, and it's a whole new application, just like your competency, but now you're applying for the license to possess said firearm. And you have to write a little motivational letter as to why you need this firearm.
Jeez.
And you hand this in again to the police. They take your fingerprints every time you go there. For every new gun, new fingerprints, everything like that. And then you hand it in and they process your application. And again, you wait about 3 to 5 months. And eventually your license will either be approved or declined.
You have to do that every time you buy a new gun?
Every time you buy a gun.
What about like gun parts?
Gun parts, only barrels and actions.
Barrels and actions?
Yeah. So if you need to like rebarrel your gun, then you need to now register that barrel and apply for that barrel.
What?
Yes.
So in America,
people, they're loopholes. People kind of get it.
Sure.
If I remember correctly, that's how it's done pretty much, because there are licensed parts to the firearm, the barrel and the action, and any part that needs to be licensed has to obviously be licensed, and you have to go through the process of getting it licensed. And then for these licenses, you have to have them renewed; they expire as well.
So what happens if you let lapse and you're illegal?
So there was actually a big court case a few years back. The police said, no, if your license expires, you must hand your gun in and we will destroy it.
Oh, fuck.
So then one of our big security companies was like, whoa, no. We got a lot of guns that we issue to our staff, and we're not going to flip and buy new guns every time this has to happen. So there was a big court case. It went all the way to our constitutional court. And then the constitutional court, fortunately, decided that no, the police cannot destroy your private property. They can't take your private property away from you. That's not right. The gun is your private property. What you have to do, basically, and I'm summarizing this whole thing up really, is that you have to hand the gun in if the license expires to the police. They have to hold it for you, or you have to have it handed over to a licensed dealer or something, put it in their name, and then you can reapply for the license. So the gun won't be destroyed, but it can't be in your possession anymore, basically.
Oh my God. That's crazy.
And these licenses last either 10 or 5 years, depending on what type of license it is. And there's different types. There's occasional hunter, dedicated hunter, occasional sports shooter, dedicated hunter, sports shooter, whatever, self-defense licenses.
That's
just a summary.
Trying to rack your brain around that.
So you guys in America, you have it good for now.
Yeah, right, for now. But there are a lot of states and people out there that they would love to see something like that happen at minimum. So in states like California and New York, there's been a couple different Supreme Court cases that came through, and one was actually a huge win for gun rights, where it was the Bruin case, I believe, whatever Bruin case, I'm pretty sure this is what it was, but they were talking about carrying concealed weapon stuff. So basically, there's this guy, I think he was a cop, and he had a license for a gun, but like lapsed or something like that. I'm butchering the fuck out of this court case, but basically he had a handgun that was in his house, and he took it out. Anyways, what they're saying is you have a constitutional right to have a handgun in your house without a permit, basically. And the Supreme Court said, yeah, that's absolutely 100%, and constitutional, and that law needs to be abolished, basically. But what I was getting at is like states like California and New York, states like that specifically, or like the District of Columbia, Washington D.C., stuff like that. Oregon, that's another. They're getting pretty bad too, but they would love to see that, because like they're not a May issue state when it comes to concealed carry permits. So that's one of the low-hanging fruits is kind of concealed carry as well. And Iowa, the state I live in, actually has just passed a few years ago as a constitutional carry. So you no longer need any type of license whatsoever to carry a handgun concealed or open. So you can carry whatever firearm you want, whatever you feel comfortable with. You don't need a piece of plastic saying that you can or cannot do that, because our Constitution explicitly says that you have the right to keep and bear arms. Keep as in keep at your house, whatever. You have the right to keep, and bear as in carry, as in have on you at all times. You have that constitutional right in our Bill of Rights ever since the creation of this country. So it's one of those things where there's a lot of states where there used to be this thing where there may issue, shall issue states. If you're a may issue state, then you go apply for your concealed carry permit. And the sheriff may issue one, as in like, maybe you will, maybe you won't. Maybe he doesn't like the way you looked on that day, so he says no, or maybe he doesn't like you personally, he says no, or maybe he thinks you're a danger to others and he says no, and you don't get one. In shall issue states, which Iowa used to be before the constitutional carry law, was if you passed all the rigmarole, the background check and all that stuff, then the sheriff has to give you that permit, because there's no reason for you not to have it. But there's a lot of states that they're trying so hard to make it like that. They really want, the anti-gun lobby really wants a gun registry. They really want more hoops to jump through when it comes to getting guns and acquiring guns in America. And it sounds like South Africa, it's like, oh fuck, like that's honestly like picture perfect what some states really are pushing for, like little by little.
There's ways around it, there's ways to, like I said, it's the only system I've known, and I own like 13 guns and rifles and all that, so there's ways around it, but still, it's paperwork. It's paperwork, and it's difficult, and
in the waiting period and all that other shit,
if I wasn't a dedicated hunter and a professional hunter, I would only be allowed to own 4 guns. That's another law we have. You may only own 4 guns unless you're a dedicated person, and dedicated person means you're a dedicated sport shooter. So you've got a dedicated sport shooting qualification. Well, not a qualification. It's like an extra sort of level of, training and dedication to what you do. You get a little certificate from an accredited association that says, yes, you passed all the tests and all that, and you do shoot regularly and whatever, and you need more than the limit. Same for hunting, and obviously professional hunting falls into that as well.
Yeah, that's fucking retarded, because that's what like New York says too. Whenever you go for your concealed carry permit, which basically no one gets unless you are a celebrity or have some extenuating circumstance, like massive threats against your life kind of thing. But if you go get your concealed carry permit in a state like New York, and they're like, well, they do the same thing, like, why do you need this? And it's like, well, because I want to defend myself. Nah, that's not quite good enough. Or it's like, well, I feel like I should be able to defend myself whenever and wherever I need, rather than just my home. Like, nah, no, that's not valid. But if you're famous, if you're a celebrity, and you go to get your concealed carry permit, they're like, why do you need this? Like, because I have millions and millions of fans that are constantly going, and some of them get kind of crazy, and I've had a lot of crazy threats on my life and all that. So like, that makes sense. You should have one. So only the rich and powerful have access to
that.
The license to get a carry permit in states like New York and California. But the normal fucking peasants like us, we don't get one because we're not quite cool enough, basically.
Yeah, not important
enough. Down to. Yeah, we're not important enough.
We don't make headline news if someone shot you.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I go ahead and waltzing through New York and I get shot on the side of the street, no one gives a fuck besides my family. It's like Fox News and CNN, they're not going to be like, Jacob Johnson just got murdered in the streets of New York. It's like, nah, just another fucking dead honky in fucking New York, It's like, it doesn't matter. Like my life to that degree doesn't matter, I guess. And it's weird to say it like that, but it's like, that's the way a lot of this stuff works.
That's the sad realities of the society we live in, It's not fair, basically.
No, it's not fair. It's definitely not fair, but well, I don't know, I guess if you want to put it this way, it's like kind of like in, I guess hunting in South Africa, like some animals are worth more than others. Yep. So some lives are worth more than others, but it's like when you're talking about human life, it's a completely different situation because
we're all the same species. At least.
My life to my wife and my daughter is much more important than Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things where it's like in America, it's the land of the free. It's supposed to be, at least, and it's one of those things where the everyone matters. Like every person matters. It doesn't matter if you're a fucking celebrity or if you're a farmer. Like every life matters, and everyone has the same fucking rights. Like everyone has the same constitutional rights in this country, and it doesn't favor anyone, whatsoever. It's just that it's black and fucking white, literally black and white. Well, I guess it's faded now, so it's like black and yellow. But it's like, it's literally written down in black and white, and we're still sitting here fucking arguing about well, can we ban this gun though? Can we ban that one? Right. Or does this person really need a gun? Yeah. Can we do that?
Ban bans.
Yeah, right. No shit. That's a T-shirt.
It's weird. Yeah, ban bans.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's the constant need for people to want to control other people is a scary thought.
It is a scary thought.
And people who support the control of other people without realizing that there's probably something that you do in your daily life that someone else wants to control or stop you from doing.
Yeah. Like I'm not gay. And I don't think being gay is right. Sure, we'll say that. Let's just say that for the sake of argument. I don't like gays, but should gays be allowed to be gay, basically?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not saying I'm actually anti-gay or nothing like that, but I'm saying, like, for the sake of argument, like, let's say I'm anti-gay. And should I be
advocating against
is that rights? Right? Is that right to do that? Like, no, I think every person should be allowed to sleep with whoever they want, no matter what. Because it's like, whether I agree with it as Jacob Johnson or not, it doesn't matter because it doesn't affect me. Exactly. It has no effect in my daily life. Whether Bob and Sean are fucking in their bed, in their kitchen at night, it doesn't affect anything that I do whatsoever. Exactly. So it doesn't matter to me, and it shouldn't matter to anyone else. It's just like, if I have 58 firearms in my house at all times, and 16 of them are on me at all times, and you can't see it. It's like, if I'm not doing anything wrong, then what does that affect you? It has no effect to you, what I do in my free time or what I have, as long as I'm not doing anything wrong with it. The same thing with the gays. Like, okay, if I'm a gay man and I don't have a boyfriend, and I really like the way Chris looks, and I fucking decide to rape him, that's wrong.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah. That's not good.
You might get shot by Chris.
Yeah, you might get shot by Chris. But it's like one of those things where it's like, bad people are going to do bad things no matter what. It's kind of what I'm getting at. It's like, I don't know.
That's it.
I don't know if I made that, made that parallel proper or not with the whole gay thing. But what it boils down to is, like, rights are rights. And I feel like people are trying to control you and what you do just because they don't like it, whether it's hunting or guns or whatever it is. It's like, it doesn't affect you. Like, it doesn't affect you at all, dude. Like, leave us the fuck alone. We're just trying to live our lives the way we want to live them.
And that's why I want people to realize where they are alike. So when you have people who are avid gun owners and sport shooters, realize that your friend is, for example, the hunter. We go even deeper, realize that, bow hunters and rifle hunters, you guys are friends. You're fighting for the same cause. I'd go so far as saying farmers, small scale farmers. Realize that, the gun owner, the bow hunter, the normal the rifle hunter, the farmer, whatever, we all fall in the same sort of broad class. It's like this sort of whole category of rights that's sort of being changed or eroded slowly. I mean, we're heading in the direction where city boys are growing our food because big corporates control the farming industry.
Right, no shit.
Yeah. I mean, like, gone are the days where it's just, the small, little farms that are, sending produce to the towns. Now it's these big corporates that are just buying up all the land. And it makes you kind of want to go on a path of conspiracy theories, thinking, ooh, maybe they want to ban hunting and stop small-scale farming and take away our guns so that we can't provide for ourselves. We become reliant on this big machine that has to feed us.
I don't think that's necessarily conspiratorial at all.
I mean, it's a scary thought, but it might be true.
Scary thought, but yeah, definitely. Hello, Ethan.
Hi.
Hello.
What the fuck are you guys doing?
We're checking
invading.
You're checking up on us.
I got to take my wardrobe back down to the bottom.
Yeah, okay, well, sweet.
We interrupt this program for a wardrobe pack.
Yeah, well, thanks, Ethan and Stuart, for fucking this whole podcast up.
That's a fine.
That is a fine.
Sorry.
Yeah, right.
We were just talking about your gay rights, Ethan.
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
Come on, it's damn nasty. I've got a gun in my hand and I've got a shitload of bullets. You really want to go down that road sometime?
I heard, Christopher, I've been a gay man all my life. I'm going to keep doing it whether you like it or not.
Hey, I can still give you guys fines.
You can.
Oh, Ethan, it's all fun.
Why do you always want to give me a hard time? I'm the nicest guy here.
Because you give everyone else a hard time.
No, but you guys
do.
enjoy it. I keep you on your toes.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And we appreciate it.
Yeah.
But we expect the same respect back when we're giving you shit, all right?
Exactly.
So,
We're defending our rights.
all right. Nice seeing you again,
Good night,
guys.
guys.
See you guys. Good night.
See you in
See you now.
brother. I'll see you in Iowa.
Yes, sir. Not too long away from now either.
Jesus,
You got too much shit in your hands.
I do. Bye.
All right. See you, sir.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Take it easy. Be
You too.
safe.
We
Let us
will.
know when you're home.
All right. We'll do.
Okay, we'll see you.
You be good.
Thank
Drive
you.
Safely tomorrow.
We'll do.
All right. Where were we again? Oh, farmers and conspiracies.
Conspiracy theories.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't think it's really that conspiratorial because that's definitely the way it seems.
for sure. I mean, I actually just thought about that today, funny enough. I don't know. You're sitting in the blind, you think about a lot of things.
A lot of things. A lot of things go through your head when you're sitting there bored.
Yeah, I just sit there and I'm thinking about all sorts of things. And like, you know, they want to take away our guns. They want to stop us from hunting. They don't want us to be able to farm our own little produce. I think someone told me recently, I can't remember who it was, but in some European country, it's illegal to have your own little veggie garden. In some town, there's somewhere.
I've heard that too.
I can't remember where exactly. I can't remember who told it to me, but I know I've heard this before.
Probably some London shit.
Perhaps, I don't know. But I mean, you can imagine not being allowed to grow your own vegetables.
Yeah.
That's not allowed. You know, you're a criminal now if you grow vegetables for yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
mind-blowing.
Well,
Scary.
yeah, they were trying to ban fucking beef farmers, like farming cattle,
Right.
cattle farmers.
Yeah.
It's like, well, cattle fart too much.
Yeah.
And it's producing methane, which is bad for the environment, which is warming the climate up too much. So we shouldn't be having, full-scale cattle farming out there, operations out there, because, it's bad for the environment. It's like, okay, well, how do you expect to feed everybody? Like, well, we got the option here. So this little thing called lab-created meat.
Yep.
This little thing, lab meat. Mm-hmm. That's gonna be the new take. And then it's like, why do you need to hunt? You can eat this. You can eat the same burger that was created in a lab. You can eat the same burger, it tastes the same amount of protein, same amount of fats. It's all the same, and it doesn't. Nothing has to die to eat it, Christopher.
Right. And you can just switch off the lab whenever the people are misbehaving.
Yep. I like the way your head goes. I like where this is going. That's good. Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's true. Same with like Teslas and stuff, and not even Teslas, I guess, but like just electric cars in general. It's all 100% computerized, where it's like you just shut your cars off.
Shut it off. Software malfunction.
Oh, I can't seem to drive my car anymore. Yep. No, nor can anyone else.
Exactly.
I guess I'm stuck.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like during COVID in South Africa, we had a very hard lockdown where technically you weren't allowed to go anywhere, drive long distances and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Imagine everyone had electric cars. They were just okay, all the electric cars are switched off now for the next year.
Yeah, right. Or they'll program.
If you want to go anywhere, you have to walk, and you can only walk so far.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Or they'll program it in there and say, if you want to go anywhere, it's home, work, or the grocery store. That's it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But it's like funny to think that way, but also scary to think that way, because
it is.
There's one thing I've noticed about conspiracy theories over the last 5 to 8 years, that a lot of them are coming true.
Yep, a lot of them are. Like Alex Jones is pretty fucking crazy until a lot of the shit he says comes true, and you're like, damn it. Not again. It's like,
exactly.
It sucks. It really sucks to think about it. And like, I find myself being more and more conspiratorial too, and it's not fun. It's not like a fun place to be, is conspiratorial all the time. No. And I'm always looking for like, what could possibly go wrong with this? Like, oh, maybe they're trying to do this. Maybe they're trying to do that. It's like, especially when you can't really do much about it. Besides
that's
talk
the scary part.
To other people about it, and it's like, fuck, we can't really do a whole lot to change it. It's just a big machine that's just going and going and going, and there's just really just seems like there's no way to stop it. And it's like, what do? You can't pull the reins back and fucking put it in reverse. It's hard. It's way harder to make a freight train stop on a dime and go in reverse. It's like, this is like with all these laws that we were talking about with the antis want to put out. Once the laws get in the books It's so hard to get them taken off the books.
Yes.
It's so hard. It's a lot easier just to prevent it.
Right.
But even that's fucking hard.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Well, that's why I always encourage people to try and identify some or another organization that fights for your interests and become a part of that. Sign up to, like in South Africa, if you're a professional hunter, join the Professional Hunters Association. If you're a game ranch owner, join the Wildlife Ranching Association. Back in the States, you mentioned there's many, gun rights groups. I know there's many hunting clubs. There's SCI, the Dallas Safari Club, a few others. Join them. And don't just join them, but be active. Read the newsletters, go to the meetings when there are meetings, give your opinion, get involved. That's the best you can do, really. And then hopefully they'll take your thoughts and your interests and your arguments to the next level. And perhaps, bigger and better coalitions, similar to the Sustainable Use Coalition of Southern Africa, can be formed, and they can take it to the next step. That's the only way I see this, it being possible to defend these things, is that if we get more and more people to join relevant organizations that defend your rights for what you do, if you're a hunter or a gun owner or whatever, and then for those organizations to identify like-minded organizations to then create the next step, the next part of the pillar, to be even more united and more powerful. That's the only way.
It really is. It really is the only way. I've said that a few times on this podcast too, and I talk quite a bit about those gun rights organizations and stuff, and some of the other hunting organizations. And that's one thing I did with I just started a Patreon not too long ago. It's like I said on there, maybe it was last week's episode or something like that. I said where if I get whenever I reach X amount of, I think it said 100 people on Patreon or something like that, then I'll donate $1,000 to a gun rights organization of our choice. Whoever's on Patreon at the time will do a fucking thing. It's every time I hit a milestone, my podcasting life here, it's I'd like to give back to those organizations that are out there helping us, because they are working with a finite amount of money, is what it boils down to. And the government has an infinite amount of money. They will just tax you harder. If they need more money, they'll just tax you more. So unfortunately, in the States, a lot of the egregious laws and stuff like that are coming from the states. So we need in the federal government is worse than a lot of the states, where it's the federal government in America was originally set up to keep the states in check and make sure that the states weren't violating the Constitution or the Bill of Rights on the people. Now it's kind of the opposite, where it's a lot of states are keeping the federal government in check to not violate the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the people. It's it's gotten so far from what it was originally set up to be, a republic, a democratic republic. And it's it just blows my mind seeing where America is and what it was intended to be, I guess, is pretty wild. But what it boils down to is money and power. And when you're playing with free money all the time, then you do a lot of things. So it's these organizations, the organizations you mentioned and that I've mentioned, they were on a very finite amount of money. It's very limited. It's only coming from people after they've been taxed multiple times already, and after they've paid their bills, after they got their groceries, after they've fueled their vehicles, after they've put money in their savings account, after they've put money in their kids' savings account for college, after they've done all these other things with their money, whatever's left of their salary every year, then what do they do with that? I don't know, buy a new gun, come to South Africa and hunt, do whatever, some other hobby. And then, okay, now that money's gone. Now what's left? Now there's not a lot of money left in everyday normal person's bank account once all expenses are taken out, whether it's bills, taxes, and expenses and hobbies. There's not very much money left to give to an NGO.
No, so there isn't. And that does make it tough, but at the end of the day, someone has to fight for your rights out there, and they have to do it by some means or another. unfortunately, they don't have infinite amounts of money. So
No,
it has to
not
come
like
from
the
somewhere,
government.
a member base.
Yeah.
So the best way to do that is to grow the member base, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had a bigger member base, perhaps the membership fees could be lower. Who knows? But you know, there's ways. But like you say, like you're trying to obviously give back here and there. That's good. And people who can should just give when they can, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very least, try to find some place where you can be involved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if it's not monetarily, then at least be involved with your advocacy, I guess. So the antis have a lot of people that are quite loud, whether it's on social media or in meetings. So if you can't, help out financially, then maybe you can help out with your voice in these certain circumstances as well. So, well, Chris, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
We have a early
Yep.
drive time tomorrow because we're leaving. It's the end of our stay here in Africa.
That's it.
The fun's got to end. Time to go back to reality and my job and life and everything else, which, I miss my daughter, my dog, and all that stuff. I don't miss my wife because she's here with me. So
Fair enough.
Doesn't mean I don't love her, but I just don't miss her because she's here. So, but obviously I'm excited to go see my family and all that stuff. But at the same time, it's like, this has been so special and so much fun. Coming to South Africa truly is like one thing that I look forward to every other year now, or however long it's, I don't know what the trajectory is in the future, but as far as of right now, it's one thing I look forward to as much as we possibly can, and it is just an absolute blast.
Perfect.
And
it's been great having you guys.
yes, yeah. So thank you for coming on, Chris, and explaining all that stuff. And it's really fun to listen to like the conservation in of South Africa and all that other stuff, and kind of see what the differences and everything between the America and other countries are. So
Always interesting. Thank you.
yes, sir.